Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to start my first currency farming strategy, and it's going to be 144 budget daily strand maps with the scribed default cathedral onto my strands. So daily mirror farming. This is not about like 80% daily farming. This is literally the league mechanic mirror where you walk into the mirror and try to kill as many monsters as possible, including, in the best case scenario, the boss, because based on our Atlas passive tree that I made for this one, you basically get one extra stack of all your Delirium rewards if you kill the boss in time. In time means before the Delirium wears off, basically, right? So it has to be some kind of like rush strategy while killing as many monsters as possible, doing this with shrines, with breach, with the Eater of Worlds influence, and yeah, like a lot of like other things that I put in here, right? Also having in the shaping the mountains, shaping the skies, as well as shaping the world for the extra map sustain, running this with singular focus. And my only favorite maps are basically 11 times strand and one connected map, which is the Dark Forest map. If you want to know how to properly sustain your own maps with Alk and Go, I made a video for that recently, so you can check that out. That goes over the basics about it. But this is basically the strat. So in the first place, I farmed my default cathedrals as Alt and Go and farmed the Nameless Seer, and then I scribed the divination cards from the default cathedral onto the strand map. So now my strand maps can potentially, not say that it's going to happen, but potentially can drop an apothecary card, which makes farming this map even better. Strand is also like a very nice layout. It's just a very long line, and the boss in the end without any stages. So how am I going to run these? Basically, I have separated here an entire special tab folder here. We have everything from currency, fragments, divination, essences, fossils, and so on and so forth. So every single special tab, more or less. So we're going to farm and basically put everything aside and see how much currency we make. For the Scarabs, we're using the Nico Scarab based on our toxic or the intoxication, giving us extra speed, max resistance, and damage for 60 seconds, and this buff stacks up. So basically, this will help us. So you have to think about running daily mirrors is basically starts easy, and the further you go, the harder, the more percent daily it is, and at the end it's about 100% daily monsters. So these monsters get very spicy, very deadly, and they have a lot of life. So anything that could help us, for example, the intoxication for the extra damage or some nice shrine buff, will basically help us finishing that off. I also said that this is a budget Scarab, a budget currency farm. So the stuff that we are using here costs like 1 chaos in bulk, besides 2 chaos for the extra shrine. So running this Nico to get our soul fight. Then we run this with additional shrines, just because shrines help clearing the map and it gives a nice amount of pack size. Then we have the Mirror of Delirium. Thing is, you can basically just take all these nodes to give you an extra chance to have 100% of the mirror, but I just wanted to save currency with the Scarab, so I ditched those percentage and just throw in one of the daily rewards here, because we now have a 6 slot map device, so we can have this like extra Scarab in, right? Then we have the Delirium fills faster and 2 additional breaches. So if you take a look at the write down, we have 144 budget daily mirror strands currency project. The investment of the map is basically 11 chaos per map. We have a 5C for the strand map itself. We have the Soulfight Daily, Delirium of Mania, Divination Shrine, and Breach Scarab, which are basically in bulk a chaos a piece. So usually it's like 1 divine for 150 or something. Besides, the Domination Shrine is about 1 divine for like 70 or something. So this is basically 2 chaos a piece. And then with the Alchemy Orb and a few chaos to just fix the map modifiers for your build, we come down to like about 11 chaos per map investment. Alk and Go, so these maps are not chiseled either, right? So this is, where is it? Here is my maps. They're all like classic Alk and Go with modifiers that I can run. And this makes us to a total of 1,620 chaos investment with about 10.8 divines, which with today's divine chaos exchange ratio from 1 to 150. So while running these maps, I'm going to write down everything that lands into my special tabs, which is currency, fragments, div cards, essences, fossils, oils, daily orbs, metamorph, strand, like the maps that we can sustain, and obviously the sales. And then we can also track how much divines per hour that was, how was my mapping duration, how much chaos per map I got profit, as well as how much gold I'm making with this, because with the 325 Settlers of Kalguur, that might be very interesting as well. So I would say in a good old fashion, we're going to run the first map together, and then we're going to see us again with the final result once I'm done with farming all of these basically maps. And I'm going to do this with the Eater of Worlds and just the regular increased quantity, whatever. You know, we have our daily Eater Shrine. The Atlas passive tree is linked in the description below. And what is our main focus here? It is farming Simulacrum, Splinters, and Simulacrums and Daily Orbs together with potentially an Apothecary drop. The build I'm playing here is my life stacking Burning Arrow of Vigor. I made a video about it yesterday. So the POB of the current version is in the description below. So you basically just run into the mirror, let some monsters spawn, go back, because there's always going to be monsters spawning in the back. And what you also want to do is basically run over these deli things. With the deli things, I mean is like little, what's it called? Deli... The white things, the eggs or whatever, where there's monsters spawning out, right? Because you want to get as many rewards as possible. We're going to see how much rewards we're going to have in the end. Open the breach thingies. I just heard a swing sound. Valdo's puzzle box in the first map. Okay, that's interesting. So there's two things. We're gonna do it the quick way now. Means I'm just gonna kill the map and let the loot on the floor and then take my time. And this is something you can do too. If your build is not insane, then please go ahead and just kill the monsters. You can loot later, because if you're looting, you're wasting the Deli Mirror, right? And if your build is not strong enough, you maybe lose the Deli Mirror while even farming, right? I'm just wondering, where is my Frenzy? Where is my Frenzy? There is my Frenzy. Just to get some extra Frenzy stacks. So let's just leave the loot aside and just clear the map. I hope that I have everything on, because I was recording a video and basically... But everything looks in place now besides the thing. So here is the first Sulfite Shrine. So now we have the Sulfite Intoxication for more damage, more speed. We're also going to get some Shrines. Clicking the next one, getting over here with the Shrines. These are the eggs that I mean. There's always monsters spawning out, giving you additional progression towards your rewards, right? And don't feel bad for sometimes just dropping a portal, because you never know, shit can happen, especially at the end of the map when monsters are like 100% daily. So let's just move on. I would so hope that I'm gonna find like an Apothecary, so all this like Nameless Seer farm basically paid off at some point, right? So, another breach. With my build, I need to check that I'm not gonna get hit for like 2 seconds, so my life recovers back up. So more... I feel like my damage is kind of low right now. I don't know if my gem sockets are like misplaced or... Well, we do have 36% more monster life, so that might be one of the reasons. But it is what it is. Just try to clear as much as possible. The more monsters you clear, the better the loot is going to be in the end, right? And we're already on like 8 stacks of what is it, Scarabs or whatever, then 6 stacks of currency that you probably cannot see right now just because my overlay is blocking it. Let's do the leak mechanic, and always try to walk over these like weird eggs. The more monster, as I said, the more progression you get towards it. Load up a big beautiful snipe. Oh, Jesus. Get some extra frenzy charges for extra damage. But you're gonna notice as soon as you do this strat, the further you go, the harder it gets, right? And these monsters just have extra life with the extra life modifier, so they are like getting very, very, very beefy. So let's just move on, try to get like another Sulfite Intoxication, maybe an extra Shrine or something. Always make sure to run over the balls. Load up big snipe. Big damage. Like, when these monsters get, like, ignite modifiers, like ignite resistance, fire damage resistance, that gets spicy. So, dropping another portal just to be safe. Do not lose anything of the Deli Mirror. And just keep on running circles with ignite. Burning Arrow of Vigor. That's like, dude, I just so love this build. I think, like, no joke, this is the strongest ignite build of the entire league. But as you see, here is the boss room, so we are now having 100% daily, basically, onto these monsters. So one thing, I want to make sure to kill the monsters, but I also need to keep the timer in mind, because I also need time to kill the boss, right? Sometimes it will definitely happen that I'm not able to kill the boss just because of map modifiers or something, but it is what it is. Better is if we do it. So let's clear the rest of these monsters, because the room in there can get spicy, dropping a portal. Just trying to load up my snipe and just try to hit the boss as fast as possible, and then just basically kite, because, as I said, monsters can get very, very juicy and spicy. But I don't see the timer ending soon, so we should be fine. Trying to get some extra snipes off here. Boss is here almost dead, getting some extra frenzy charges. Delirium is about to stop. Is the boss dying? 2, 1. No! That's a yikes. One snipe off, but it is what it is. But we don't really had any bit of altars, so this is like the first altar, I think, so that's actually sad. But 164 splinters, some Deli orbs, and now we're back, basically cleared the entire map. 2 monsters remaining, so very sick clear. And yeah, almost got half a level while doing so, and even forgot my weird deployment of my sentinel that I picked up, but this is just because, like, you know, talking about the video and stuff. Good. I did not block any league mechanics, so that basically means that I will see league mechanics, but I'm not gonna do them unless they give me extra monsters. That means if there is a ritual, I'm gonna kill the ritual monsters that are near the pillar, but not activate the ritual, right? If there is a legion, I'm gonna do it. If there is a harvest, I'm not gonna do it, right? So anything that gives me extra monsters will be done, and all the rest I don't really care. But yeah, this was the first map, 143 to go, and we're gonna see us again after I'm done with those and see if this is actually profitable or not. Alright, I'm done with running 144 of the budget Delhi Strands, and yeah, things are actually looking pretty good. So if we take a look at my special tabs over here, which I basically put in everything that dropped in these 144 maps, including the sales and so on. We also got an apothecary card and a divine orb shrine and lots of uniques that we can go and throw into the disenchanter. So before we're going to talk about the currency and how much it actually was, how many simulacrums we farmed, how much gold did we make, and so on and so forth, I want to mention that this strat, now after running those maps, it is a hard grind, okay? A hard map, basically, right? I want to say this again, I want to stress this out, right? The way Delhi Mirror works is the further you're away from using this Delhi Mirror, the harder the monsters get. Strand is a very long stretched layout, so in the end of the map, the monsters are ridiculously hard. And I think if I would do this again, I would stay away from Breach, because Breach, like 100% Delhi breaches, is very, very hard. And in, I would say, 9 out of 10 breaches, there is a Soul Eater in there. And if you're killing like 500 monsters with one big explosion, opening this breach with the increased density and monster spawn faster, these like Soul Ripper, 100% Delhi, Ash, sapping monsters with like 500% movement speed, they're gonna kill you, okay? So if I would do this again, I would skip Breach and take anything else instead, right? Because it is very, very hard. Okay, let's take a look at the breakdown. What did we get? So basically, we spent around 11 chaos per map. Investment is about 10 divines investment for the 144 maps, including re-rolling the map, including like alking. There is no chiseling, and our budget Scarabs. And we made a total of about 95 divines, which is around 6.5 divines an hour. But there is lots of things to explain, and obviously I put the divine orb shrine divines away, and I put the apothecary away, because otherwise this would be like 10-12 divines an hour, and that would completely fake my result. I did not have any big drops whatsoever. I had, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 Valdo boxes. I had a Dialas. I had a power rune from one of the bosses that spawned, and then some random sales from my dump tap. And that is pretty much it. So nothing too crazy over here. So let's take a look what made all the currency. So in our currency tab, we basically have all these like grand like Eldritch Icors that can sell quite easily for divines, basically. So this is over a divine worth. And by the way, here is no bulk price whatsoever. This is singular buyout, but I think now with the auction house and stuff like that, there is not really too much bulk selling going on anymore. So that was about 4,800 chaos when it comes to that. Then we have fragments with 2,100 chaos. This includes everything that just randomly dropped from Scarabs into breaches, since we have the notes that breaches or breach monsters or the lords or whatever can drop breach stones. And then we have a bunch of screaming invitations. They're also like 0.3 divines. Next up, we have divination cards with like 916 chaos, and I think the most mentionable one was 2 times the Sephiroth, which is like, yeah, almost 2 divines. And yeah, nothing too crazy besides the apothecary, but as I said, I did exclude that. Then we have essence, fossils, and oils is pretty much a little bit of everything, you know, some bunch of like essences that I converted. Fossils, nothing too crazy. Blight oils, nothing too crazy. This is just like from random loot generators out of the daily rewards. So now let's take a look at Delhi. We made a total of 76 simulacrums and I think 267 Delhi orbs that can definitely sell in bulk. But overall, it was about 3,879 chaos. That is just the Delhi tab. Then no metamorphs, so no catalyst or anything. Then maps, this is kind of like an interesting one because I got back 101 Strand maps and 134 Dark Forest maps. As you remember, I'm playing this with the singular focus, so basically every other map that is not one of these 2 maps is going to get converted into currency, could, you know, result in a divine orb or something. But there is some maps that I still have here that are not one of these 2, and this is because sometimes the league mechanic basically drops maps, and this is like excluded from your Atlas passive tree. So basically 2,200 chaos with 12 times T17 map, which is the fortress, which goes for about 80 chaos apiece. And then we have the Nico Azerite. So this is something that a lot of people underestimate. So I really like to play with Nico, especially since we have this node over here. Sulfide veins in chests in maps have a 10% chance to also contain an equal amount of Azerite. And do not underestimate that, because if we're gonna go down to our mine, the thing is like, I did not spend all that I had before, so I just make an estimate, right? So I currently have 259,000 Azerite. This is not because I like to delve, this is simply because I click the Azerite thingies, the sulfide thingies, and sometimes I get Azerite, right? And if we say that you buy the 1-socket resonators, for example, you get 70 for a divine. So if we say 70 times 300 dust, what each cost is like 21,000 dust, right? So if I have 259,006 dust divided by 21,000 is basically over 12 divines worth of resonators that I could buy. Obviously, I did not take all of that because I had some left over, but I cannot remember how much it is. But based on the maps, I easily made like 150 or 200,000 Azerite based on that. So this is something very nice side income. And then others is basically whatever I have left over, like some tomes, some scouting reports or omens and stuff like that. These 2 are excluded, obviously, right? The Valdo boxes I bought off myself, so it was like 0.8 divines or so per Valdo, so I bought them off myself and then opened them, and we got Suncrest, Bramblejack, Tavukai, and Will Clash. So completely rip, but sorry, but the money has still been made, which is a total of 105 divines. When it comes to the gold, I basically I have like 1 million over here, and they spend like a 500,000 gold into my my town, basically, so my workers can work from like the last 2 days, basically, right? So it's about 11,000 gold per map, is about 100,000 gold per hour, which is not really that great, but the maps take around 6 minutes to do. And that also gives me to a total simulacrum splinter count of 23,000. That gives a total of 76 simulacrums and roughly 1.85 Delhi orbs. And my highest count was 263 splinters in one single map. But sometimes you have a bad layout, maybe you die sometimes, and sometimes you just get 90 splinters. It's just a bad map, but sometimes you get over 250, but the average is about 160. But yeah, this is a very good currency making thing. I know that some people will say, now wait, what are you gonna do with 6.5 divines an hour? Don't forget, this is a very budget strat, which costs 11 chaos per map. We're not taking any expensive Scarabs, so this is easily doable for everybody. The only exception is, what I would say, is to leave Breach away if you don't have a good build, okay? I was struggling with my build sometimes, and I think my build is actually really, really freaking strong. But as I said, 100% Delhi breaches are really, really rough. Alright guys, this is it for this strategy. I'm gonna go and make another strategy now, and we're gonna just test out these like budget farming strats and see how much currency can we make with those standard T16 farms, basically. I will upload a build guide from this build tomorrow, as well as an aspirational build guide in 2 days, which would be like my best in slot kind of like Ignite character with over 100 million DPS. If you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe. And other than that, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.